What is going on, Blurverse, and welcome back to another episode of For the Blurcher. I'm RJ, and as always, I'm joined by my boy Hero Harrison.
What's happening?
And today we're going to be talking about and breaking down episode 3 of Marvel's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is now streaming on the Disney Plus platform. You may notice that we're one short today, as Trey couldn't be here with us, but never fear, he will be back next week. However, we have joining us today someone who is brand new to our show. Everybody, please welcome Michael from Nerd Guy Productions.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I know you had a long day at work, so we're honored that you found the time and the energy to stop by and be on the show today. So thank you.
Good way to wind down.
Right? Yeah, because we got a lot to talk about today. This episode was kind of crazy. We had a lot of storytelling. We got a lot of everything in this episode. Action, storytelling, backstories, callbacks, things like that. So let's just go ahead and get started with the beginning. I want to talk about the Global Reparations Council and what kind of social services program does the world have that they can literally take care of everybody that's been missing for 5 years? And if so, why does Sam not apply for global reparations? Does he not qualify because he's a hero? So I want to get your thoughts on this, because we see him struggling to get a loan. We see, that we have terrorists now that are kind of trying to steal supplies to get people back, on their feet. So what do you guys feel about the Global Reparations Council? I'll start with our guest.
To be honest, I am pretty confused about the council. They seem like a somewhat sinister organization, but I don't really get what their goal is. I understand they're like trying to bring citizens back into their countries, but I don't know. The way the Flag Smashers seem to view them, it seems pretty obvious that they've got something really shady going on in the background, but I'm not exactly sure like what they're even doing, to be truly honest. I mean, I know they're getting like food and like making camps and everything for displaced people, but it seems like some people have to go to these camps, some people don't. So I'm not really sure exactly how they're going to do that. I kind of hope in a future episode they like really delve into the process of it all, because at the moment I'm still pretty confused on the whole thing, but I'm curious to see like what they do with the council going forward, because it's clear they're important. They wouldn't have started the episode with the commercial.
It's Remy made a good point. They what? No, that's not how it was. I'm thinking of something else. Okay, but they definitely seem very corporate. They seem very I don't know. I feel like there's an underlying problem with these people. I feel like they're not being honest about helping people, and I just want to see where this goes in the future. What about you, Jay? What do you feel about the GRC?
I just think it's a foundation is placed where they're trying to find different corporations and fund through they think is legally, but it's illegal, and they're trying to branch out to have these different other corporations to just like push out this Super Soldier Serum. I know we'll talk about that in a second, but I think there's just a lot of connections that people are trying to create with that group, with the council, and I think that it's gonna be worldwide eventually. It's gonna be dangerous.
I don't think they are who they say they are. I don't know. I just feel like they're not. If they were helping people and giving reparations out to everybody, I feel like we wouldn't have this terrorist group now going around stealing supplies, blowing things up. But I am curious to see how this kind of ties into the main villains of the show. I want to move on to the next scene where we have Captain Derp, and he's in Germany. God, his face just irritates me, man. And I just also don't like the way he carries himself as Captain America, because I feel like the things he does, Steve would never, he would never operate the way Captain Derp is operating, and it's just frustrating to see him just, be the way he is. But he's trying to get information because they're all looking for Carly, and he's really aggressive in this. So I want to know. I'll kick it to you, Jay, and I'll let you take over after this. What do you feel about the new Captain America and his way of doing things, and how it differs from Steve?
Oh man, you already know how I feel about this, but so honestly, this man is really psychologically crazy. If you know how he is in the comic books, we won't get into that, but It's just I don't like the way he does anything. This is not the way we do things. I'm kind of glad, he got his some spit in his face in the beginning of the show, because he kind of deserved that. Like, that's not how Captain America would handle things. I mean, yeah, like Captain America be aggressive, but not to that point. And plus, like, Captain America doesn't carry, a gun with him. So I just think that the way he interrogates people is not right. And honestly, the difference is the gun and the attitude, because he's saying, "Oh yeah, America first," but you're on the verge of, like, I don't know, like hatred. Showing hatred for what America really is.
And I feel also that he's really kind of like selfish in a way, because he got really upset when he said, "Do you know who I am?" And the guy said, "I don't care." I feel like that just rubbed him the wrong way. It really kind of like, it was a blow to his ego for sure.
He definitely wants to be known as Captain America. Wants to be that so bad, but he's just not.
A U.S. agent.
No, exactly.
Or as our commenters are calling him, Captain, what do you call him? Captain Wonder Bread. Yeah.
Wonder Bread John.
Wonder Bread John, as Shayna says. I'm not a fan of the Captain America, and even his sidekick. What's his name? Leon.
Battlestar. Yeah. Leon Hoskins. Yeah.
Leon.
Yep.
Leon.
I think it's is it Lamar? I think it's Lamar Hoskins.
It's Lamar. It's Lamar.
Lamar Leon.
Yeah, just give him a generic black name. Just call him Leon.
I'm pretty sure it's Lamar though.
Yeah, but I'm not feeling the sidekick either. I feel like there's a certain arrogance that this Captain America, and entitlement that he carries, and it rubs me the wrong way. Even though he says he worked hard for it, and he earned everything he has, I still feel like there's a sense of entitlement that he carries, just being who he is. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of him. I'm not gonna be.
I'm like, I agree, but I feel like he's a little better than John Walker, Wonder Bread John, because there was that moment when he was like, well, she's giving food and shelter to people who need it, so that's going to get you some attention. And I feel like he kind of at least understood like why people follow her. So I was like, okay, there's like something there with him.
And why they just wouldn't blindly snitch on them, because I think he was expecting to intimidate, and then he just spilled the beans. And when he didn't, he's like, "Oh, what do you mean they're not gonna, tell me where she's at?" Yeah, because she's feeding them, she's giving them supplies, things that they can't get elsewhere. So of course they're gonna have her back.
Yeah, and I just feel like I don't know, with Wonder Bread John, he's like, I really dislike him, but at the same time, I do think he's trying to be like his version of a good person. To be honest, this is from a later part of the episode, but he kind of reminds me of like a cop, just with his whole, like, it doesn't really matter how we do it as long as we get it done. He's like totally okay with using whatever power he has to just get the results that he wants. Doesn't really matter how he does it. So I don't know. He gives off a real vibe of like utter privilege, and he just screams a cop to me, which I'm not. I feel like
we know who he voted for in 2016.
Yes,
like it's clear. It's clear who he voted for in 2016 and 2020. We know who he campaigned for.
No,
we know what he was doing on January 6th. Was it? Yeah.
Was it this? I thought it was the 3rd.
3rd. Yeah, we know what he was doing on January 3rd. Basically.
Yeah.
He was at the rally, so
he was one of the people scaling the walls.
He stormed the Capitol.
he had it unlocked. Like, he was the one who he was the first one there.
He was the organizer. He's the one who started the secret TikTok to get organized. Yeah, so I think we're all in agreement that we are not feeling Captain Wonder Bread. It's just, you're never going to be Captain America. You're not going to be hashtag. What did we say last week? Hashtag not my cap. We're not with the shits with Captain America. Oh shit! I almost called him Captain America. Captain Wonder Bread. Yeah. So all right, I'll let you go ahead and you want to lead into the next part of the thing, Jake?
Yeah, definitely. So we pretty much get closer to the point where last episode we saw, hey, we're gonna go get Zemo, and it's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love this part. I love this part.
Yeah, it's like, all right. Well, I guess this is really happening. So they get Zemo, and they get him out. But as we progress into the episode, there's still a lot of things that we probably need to touch on as far as this whole relationship with these three, because we're not going to talk about Captain America Civil War today, but just a little quick note, you know that they have that history with each other. They've all seen each other before. And when they bail him out, there's like a lot of these other Zemo's a sugar daddy we all need.
Like Raimi.
Kills me. Oh man, that's funny. But as we progress in this episode, we just see like this relationship of kind of it kind of goes like, it's kind of interesting because there's a lot of mystery to it. But when they're talking about they're gonna go find the power broker and all that, Zemo's sneaky. I don't know if you guys know how Zemo works and operates as far as people in the chat. He's sneaky. So, but as far as you two, I want to ask you guys, do you think Zemo has been planning stuff before he got out of jail? And I'm going to throw that at RJ first.
I don't think he's been planning stuff since he got out of jail. I feel like he's opportunist. I feel like he's very quick at thinking on his feet. And I feel like he saw an opportunity to get what he wanted. When Bucky came to him, you see, he was very reactive when Bucky walked in, when he started using the code word to try to control Bucky. So he didn't know Winter Soldier was going to walk into that prison. And so I feel like it's kind of one of the things where I don't feel like he's this mastermind genius to where he can plan this prison break. I feel like he's an opportunist, and where he sees an opportunity to get out, he's going to take it. And one thing I will say is this: if he's in prison for some pretty serious crimes, the fact that he was able to break out of jail just off of a prison riot kind of irritated me, because I feel like shouldn't this be a maximum security prison? Shouldn't the prison break have been more than? I feel like this is very like the episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender where they broke out of the Fire Nation prison was harder than this. I feel like that episode, that prison break was a lot harder than this, but that's the only critique I have about this. But I get it. It's a mini series where, trying to get, from point A to point B. So the quickest thing to do was to break him out. But I wasn't feeling that prison break, but I don't feel like he's this mastermind that's planning on break it. I feel like he's just kind of reactionary.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I think he does plan stuff, but at the same time, he sees the opportunity. He's like, oh, I got that. Easy. So yeah, I agree. But Mike, what about you, man? Do you think Zemo's been planning stuff before he's got out of jail, or what?
I kind of do, actually. I just feel like if they're going more for his comic persona, I'm like, he plans like 40 steps ahead. So yes. I feel like he's kind of been waiting. I don't think he necessarily knew it was the Winter Soldier that was going to be busting him out, but I think he knew probably one of the Avengers at one point was going to need him. And so he's kind of been waiting for this moment. But yeah, the prison break thing did kind of bother me too, because I think even in my reactions to it, I was like, they don't walk you through the general population of a prison. Like, you can't just drop a note to one of the, like, that's not how it works. But regardless, it was still cool what happened afterwards. So I was like, all right, whatever. Like, it's not too big a deal. But I don't know. And also the fact that Zemo continuously gets away from them and then goes back to them. I'm like, that's an opportunity to get away that I think he would take, but I think he does have a plan, because he's like, not quite yet. Like, I got something planned for you guys. So that's why I kind of think he has a plan, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I didn't even think of that. That's a good point, the fact that he went back to them. But I want to real quick before Jay say what you say. I also want to point out that that was very clever of them, the way they kind of progressed the time, like Gerald said, with kind of talking about the prison break, while it was kind of happening, and we kind of did
that. Cross cutting was so good.
Yes,
that was
so really good. It was smart, and I like smart stuff like that. So that's something that I like that Gerald pointed out. But go ahead, Jay, what you say?
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all. I just think that I think you brought up a good point, Michael. I think that because reading Zemo in the comics is like, he like you said, he's always 40 steps ahead. He takes his time. He's a sneaky dude, and I think in this situation, he's tapping into the water. He's kind of playing with them, like, oh yeah, like, you can trust me, because those times he got away, as RJ's mentioned, it's like he came back. Mike, you mentioned that too. But it's just like how he's doing this. So I think that, I agree with you, Mike. I think that he's been planning stuff from the very beginning, even in Civil War, because Zemo is so internationally connected it's not even funny. So, but we'll talk about that.
You see the cars that man had. This man has money. Like he
Like,
has
money.
A lot of money.
I love the comment when he was like, "I'm a baron." Like,
yeah,
you expect me to be poor? Yeah, like
it's like you didn't know I was rich. Like, well,
we've been under a rock. Like I'm loaded. But also, somebody had in the chat had pointed out Sam's reaction. Sam was pissed when he found out that he broke Zemo out, and I love his like organic, just like, "What did you do?" Like his voice cracked when he's like, "What did you do?"
I mean, fair enough. Like if they get caught for that, he's going down too, and he didn't even do anything. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Exactly. And you know what's even more dangerous about that is the fact that when Bucky walked up to the glass, you know, he tried to say those numbers he said in Civil War. And
yeah, I like that a lot.
I was just like, ooh.
But that's why I said he's reactionary. He saw him and he immediately said, "Well, what can I do to try to get out of here?" He's well on his feet.
That's a good point.
No, you're right about that, because that's the thing. Like if he sees something, he's like, "Oh, okay, boom, we gotta do it." Then on to the next task. He's quick, he's witty. So I mean, he's sneaky, man. And that's the thing with Bucky too. It's like he still has that in him, believe it or not. So it's kind of scary to see these two come back, a second time, because who knows what will happen.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do want to say is I love the kind of like chemistry and interaction that the three of them have together. Zemo, Sam, and Bucky. It's kind of this like playful banter that they have back and forth that's not layered on too heavy. It's just funny enough to be believable that you're sitting across the room or a private jet from somebody that you hate, but you can kind of throw a joke in here and there when they were talking about the Marvin Gaye, the music, and I had to side
that joke got me pretty good.
It did. And as this is what I love about Marvel, and I talked about this during WandaVision. Marvel is so good at these small callbacks to things. Because I don't know if you guys remember, it was a Winter Soldier after when Steve was in the hospital and Sam was by his bed and they were playing that song, Trouble Man. Yeah. And it's just Marvel is really good at their callbacks and their continuity. They're kings when it comes to that, and that's one thing I really appreciate about the MCU was that they can kind of call back and keep the universe and the continuity amazingly. But we see while they're on the private jet, they're kind of trying to figure out what to do. And, Sam is pissed and they're joking back and forth. Then we hear Zemo say, he spent years kind of like hunting Hydra and stuff like that. And, they decide that their new plan is to kind of go to, what's the name of the place? It's on the top of my head.
Oh, Madripoor?
Madripoor, yeah, they're going to Madripoor, and they're going to kind of, seek out someone named Selby, and kind of try to pull information from her. So we see them so let's just talk about this. So they decide to dress up as the Smiling Tiger, and Winter Soldier, decides to be the Winter Soldier again, but. Not all black people look alike. That irritated me. At least put on some shades, man. Like if they're like, Jay, I can recognize you in person. We do not look alike.
Not one bit.
Not one bit. Exactly. Not one bit.
I feel like they tried to make it okay too by having Sam be like, "Oh, we do kind of look alike," and you're like,
no, like nice try. I don't look alike. And it just was funny to me. They even tried to pull that off when they just had an episode about race relations like last week, and they tried to pull the all black people look alike card. They do.
It's Disney.
Yeah, it's Disney. Yeah, there's pandering. The shameless pandering is typical Disney. But
even when Baron Zemo mentioned that comment. Even when Baron Zemo mentioned that comment on the plane, talking about like Marvin Gaye, like, oh, he's the like epitome of black people and stuff. He's like, what? He got a point though.
Yeah,
like at least he was a little more self-aware on that one. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
like just like Sam said, it's like he's not wrong, but
he's out of pocket, but he's not wrong. Yeah. I had to side at Bucky too, because last week I kind of got like a vibe from Bucky that he was like the kind of person who doesn't believe in police brutality exists. And then when he said, "Oh, I like music from the '40s," I was like, "You really like those decades back there where we didn't have no rights there?" All right.
So right. Do you like everything from the '40s? I'm curious.
Do you like Elvis Presley?
Maybe we'll find out soon.
Maybe.
Right. We'll see. But yeah, so we get to the scene in Madripoor, and they're in the bar, and the most hilarious shit happens. He offers him his usual drink.
That was
and they cut the snake guts open. And I have to give it to Anthony Mackie. And y'all know how I feel about Marvel humor sometimes. I feel like it's misplaced. I feel like it's in the wrong place. But this joke was so well done and so subtle that it had me laughing so hard. And Anthony Mackie's like comedic, like timing or whatever you want to call it, is freaking genius, bro.
No,
He's like, after he drank it,
he's like, not RJ. He's like the usual. He's like, yeah.
I just couldn't get over the double take, like right before he took his. All right, yeah. And then he goes for it again. I was like, down the hatch, man. Come on, you got to do it.
But
I felt bad for the snake, though. I was like, why'd you got to kill the snake, though, man? Like, who drinks snake guts? Like, what the fuck is this?
It's like, is that even a real drink? I don't know.
I'm sure it is somewhere. It must be.
It's probably going to be after this. After today, it's probably going to be a drink.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna go to my job in the bar down the building. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's our new thing right now. It's that new Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode. Like,
yes,
please don't serve that.
Bro, that was wild. And so they get into like I guess a small little bar fight. And Winter Soldier goes back into character being a Winter Soldier. He's pretending to be controlled by Zemo, and then calls him off. And then we go upstairs to see. They go upstairs to see Selby, and they're trying to get information as to who's making this Super Soldier Serum. And this kind of irritated me because I always have this thing where I feel like that should go without saying for you to put your phone on freaking silent, not vibrate when you're going into a mission. Like when the phone vibrated, I did the same thing Jay's doing, the same thing I did. I'm like, bro, you're on a mission in a violent part of town. You're literally Madripoor. He said it's kept its lawless ways, and you're undercover on a covert mission, and you have your phone, bro. You deserve to be shot up.
I feel like they were trying to say that like Sam's not as versed in like espionage and stuff like that, but I don't know. I feel like he might not be as experienced as like Zemo and Bucky in that, but I don't think he would be that slow on the uptake. Yeah. Like that seemed a little bit of too much of a rookie mistake.
Yeah, and I think that's what rubbed me the wrong way. I feel like he should know better at this point because he's military as well.
Yeah, I'm like he would probably know how to handle the situation at least a little better than that. I don't know. Like he tried his best when he had to answer it. I'll give him that, but yeah, the fact that it wasn't silenced was a little lazy.
She almost had it too. I mean, he almost had it too until Sarah was like, "All right, Sam." And I was like, damn.
Yeah, he was they were right there. I was like, "Come on, you almost got this." Nah.
Yeah, definitely a writing fault. I feel like they could have.
Yeah.
That was very lazy writing. I think that's two instances of lazy writing in this episode: the prison break scene and the cell phone scene. Because we definitely could have gotten something better than that out of that.
There's one other part that I thought was kind of lazy writing, but I'll talk about it when we get to it because it's a little later.
All right. What'd you think about that whole scene, Jay?
I was like, man, this is not gonna. Like Michael said, it's like you almost got this. Come on, and then next thing you know, why did you have to? You should have just hung up or something. I would just been like, I'll call you back, and then just hung up right there. But
that's what I expected him to do. Yeah, I was expecting him to say, "All right, I'll get at you later," and hang the phone up on her. But and she yelling about Cheerios and shit. None of that was smooth. None of it.
Yeah, none of that. And just this whole scene, I was just like, man, like I gotta go back for just a quick second just with the smiling tiger, like in the comic book, it's the dude named Conrad Mack, and he's just like this complete other person, and he looks nothing like that. But anyways, just he's a bigger, buffer dude, and he's taller and operates on machines and stuff. So I'm just surprised, like you said, how he got in, and people didn't recognize who the actual smiling tiger was. Going back to that whole thing, like We do
Yeah.
not look the same. This dude is way bigger, taller, buffer, a different facial structure. And
My whole thing is like, why don't you just put sunglasses on? Like, you didn't even try to hide the fact that you weren't that person.
exactly.
Like,
Maybe they did know. I don't know. When the dude was giving him the drink, he never like smiled or acknowledged him. He was constantly just like, and just kind of like walked away. So maybe they were just like messing with him, honestly.
maybe
Like
that's the joke. Maybe he gave him the guts as like, yeah, you're not even the smiling tiger, but I'm gonna give you these snake
Right.
guts.
Be like, Smiling Tiger doesn't drink this shit, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
here you go.
Do it.
Here you go, dumbass.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, why'd you even try to not like put some shades on or just some kind of disguise yourself a little bit, and then you got in, and I just feel like the whole scene, they knew that wasn't him at first. They're just kind of like looking at him in a different way, and it's just like, oh boy, how far is this going to go? And then next thing you know, it's like,
Selby called him out too.
Yeah.
yep.
But I feel like they also wouldn't have let him back to Selby if they didn't think it was him. So I don't know. Maybe it was just a lazy writing moment. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, maybe everybody's dumb.
Yeah, but it was a good scene. I mean, I mean, she got blasted, but
That shocked me like quite a bit, actually. I went, what? What just happened?
I definitely wasn't expecting that. Was it Sharon shot her, right? Yeah.
They don't confirm that it was, but I would
think it
assume
is,
so.
though. I think RJ's onto something, because I mean, we'll talk about it in a second, but I mean, I just think that it has to be somewhere along those lines, because we'll get towards the end and talk about it.
Yeah, but my whole thing was like, that scene was very intense for me. As soon as like the jig was up, and then she was like, "Kill them all," and then the bullet just came and just, and she just dropped dead. And Zemo kind of irritated me too when he said, "Okay, put your guns down." But you know everybody's about to go after you and kill you. So why are you saying put your guns down? And like no sooner than that happened, that everybody's phone started ringing. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe he was trying to get them killed. I don't know what the whole thing was. And I think when Sharon jumped in, I don't think they were, well, obviously they weren't expecting it. But yeah, that whole Sharon saving them thing was crazy. So let's get into that. So Sharon shows up on the scene, and she basically saves everybody's life, you know, being the hero, kills everybody and things like that. But see, she comes up to them and she says that she didn't have the Avengers, you know, to back her up. So she didn't get a pardon. So basically she's been on the run ever since they stole that shield. And I don't know if Sam kind of like, you know, feels guilty or whatever. So he offers her a pardon. So going back to the whole reparations thing and all of that, I feel like, why didn't they just, you know, we all know who was involved, so why didn't they just get her a pardon? I don't understand that. I don't know if that's just bad writing or if they just they forgot about it. Because I feel like if the three of us stole some government property together and me and Jay get a pardon, I'm going to say, okay, well, can you pardon Mike too? I feel like that should have happened.
I'd probably be just like Sharon if you didn't. I'd be like, well, I'm going to go sell some stolen art then, because this is some bullshit.
It was bullshit. It was straight bullshit.
I don't necessarily think that was lazy writing, though. I think it was genuinely just a kind of a sad moment where they do realize, like, oh, you know, like right after we dealt with all that, there's just like so much going on that we did kind of forget about Sharon being involved in all of it, which I feel like that's why she's so bitter towards everyone. She's like, I helped you out and you just totally forgot about me. So, I mean, I think that was like the better way to go about the situation. Because I don't know, it was weird at first seeing how different she was, but as they kind of progressed through it, I was like, oh damn, they like really forgot about her and she had to fend for herself. So I actually kind of liked that choice. I don't think it was necessarily like a stupid decision, just because I mean they just dealt with like Thanos and like billions of people coming back all at once.
That, man. Like
I mean, they're wrong for it, but
they're wrong for that, man.
It's just I could see how they would get distracted with other things after, like, what would it be? Like 3.5 billion people come back all at once, and you just dealt with that. I could see them being like, "Oops, sorry, forgot about that."
I feel like I'd be in my bed in the middle of the night, and I'd be laying down, and I'd be like, "Oh shit, Sharon!" You know, like at some point, I'd remember. You know, like I feel like I wake up in a close sweat saying, "Oh shit, Sharon," you know, but they didn't care. They had other things on their mind. But I get where she's coming from, and I'd be salty too that she has to live off the grid. She hasn't seen her family. You know, Sharon's going through a lot. What do you think about all that she's going through, Jay?
Crew, man, you know, she's a fugitive.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that now she understands, like, she's explaining, hey, I just saved your butt from getting his butt in jail. And it's like, and I think that she's now understanding how things work. Because even in Winter Soldier, when she saved Captain America from getting shot.
Yeah.
And she was done dirty and didn't even apologize. Yeah. And I think that since she's a fugitive, I just think it's gonna be harder for her to come back to the States. And we don't know what she's operating outside of this in this international world to get back to whatever she wants to get. She wants to have some kind of power.
I don't think she even necessarily wants to come back. Like maybe see her dad again, but I think she kind of likes the new life she's living, or it seems like it.
Maybe.
But I don't think she likes the new life. I feel like she realizes that, you know, because she even says at one point that, you believe in all the stars and stripes bullshit. You know, I think that she's kind of seeing, you know, her country for what it is, you know, in her eyes, because, you know, she didn't get her pardon. She didn't get, she didn't get taken care of like the rest of the Avengers that everybody else that got a pardon. She even said that Bucky killed, you know, how many people, or Sam said Bucky killed how many people. He got pardoned, and we'll get one for you too. And I also feel like it's kind of like maybe a too little, too late kind of thing.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like the time to have helped her was when you came back, not what is this now, 6-7 months later after everyone's come back.
Yep.
Yeah. And Bucky's getting therapy and got a pardon after murdering like hundreds, maybe like thousands of people. I saw someone say, or maybe that was you actually, that was about the difference between white men and minorities. And I actually feel like that's probably what they're going for there.
Yeah.
At least I hope it is.
Yeah, I agree with that. I saw that comment as well. They're going for something like that just to show how the government, you know, which is, you know, predominantly white men, and, you know, try to take out universal threats or whatever it is, corporations, anything.
Someone, Remy has a theory. Sharon owns the entire black market bar thing, and she's living in it. And yeah, she's living it. Yeah. I feel like she has more power than she's letting on. I feel like she has more to do with Madripoor than she's leading on.
She's got security guards.
Yeah.
She's got to be pretty powerful.
You have priceless art, you know, that you're selling, and not fake art, as they, you know, we kind of learned that, you know, when Bucky, Zemo, and I guess Sharon were talking about the art, and they said, no, like my shit is legit. Like she's not out here selling pyramid schemes, essential oils. Like she's really out here, you know, selling legit art.
No.
She got money. She got money one way or the other.
She throws a good party too.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. So after they kind of clear, after they kind of, you know, get all that out the way, and they, you know, go back to her house, they change clothes, and they finally leave, and they go to container 426. We learn that, Sharon keeps a lookout for while Zemo, Sam, and Bucky go in to talk to Dr. Miguel. And we found he was brought into Hydra to work after 5 failed attempts at Super Soldier Serum, and then he was recruited to the CIA. Then they talked about the 5 test subjects, and you know, kind of you see Sam's face kind of like, you know, feels like way because he's upset about Isaiah. And I love how they're building on the storyline. I like how they, you know, mentioned it, you know, addressed it, and you know, we're still kind of dealing with the after effects of that in this episode. So how far do you think they're going to take this whole Isaiah thing? Because I feel like something is boiling up with Sam. Sam's going to flip eventually. So what do you feel about Sam and how he's going through this, Jay?
Oh man, he's seeing, you know, the stuff behind, you know, closed doors. You know, he's seeing like the dirty work about it. And I just feel like what's going to happen is that he's learning that, you know, I don't want to be in this situation. I don't even want to work for the government. I just want to be Captain America. And also, just with this whole scene, man, it's just Dr. Nagel, you know, in the comic book, obviously he was one of the responsible people for the Super Soldier Serum, and people don't know this too. In the comics, he actually was responsible for holding 40 African American blacks in prison and like just doing experiments on them. But again, nobody knows that.
Yeah.
So, but he mentioned.
Do you think they'll uncover that?
You said what?
Do you think they'll kind of dive into that deeper?
They need to. I think they will, though. I think they will. A lot of secrets are coming out. That's my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about everything that Sam is going through, Mike?
I mean, I think it's pretty interesting. As soon as he started mentioning Isaiah without actually saying his name, you could just tell how much that rubs Sam the wrong way and how low he's viewed, and not only his eyes, but his own government's eyes. I mean, he was in prison for how many years was it? Was it 30 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like I think he's just slowly realizing that there really isn't much to the whole stars and stripes thing, and other people in power are always going to look down on like the black heroes out there. So I could see him, honestly, like destroying the shield at the end of this show. Kind of like what he was talking about later, because it does seem like he's reaching a boiling point, and I can't tell if it's going to be him taking the shield and turning the symbol into something totally different, or if he's going to genuinely just like get rid of it altogether. Yeah. And I'd be fine with either way of going about that. I think that'd be cool. I will say it was cool that they brought in Dr. Nagel, though, because I was like, that's a big comic book character. And as soon as they brought him in, I was like, he's the one who gave Isaiah his powers. So I wonder how they're going to rework it. And they didn't really make it so that he gave him the powers in this version. He was just one of the people to like experiment on him after the fact. So I kind of want to see also like how far into that they all explore. Like, are they going to reveal that there were other black soldiers that were experimented on like they were in the comics, or are they going to keep it just as Isaiah? Because I feel like that'd be a missed opportunity if they don't.
Yeah, I agree. There's a huge like background history with the Super Soldier Serum and how it links to everything.
Yeah.
And especially with Dr. Nagel, you know, he's responsible for a lot of stuff with Hydra too. Like he's a dirty dude.
Yeah. I mean, what's the name of those experiments? Was it Henrietta Lacks, or it was I swear that's what it was called, but it was experiments on like the female anatomy, and they used black slaves. I feel like that's like heavily what they're leaning into with this. So again, I'm like, I feel like they should really just like go for it and hit people with something pretty heavy. Yeah. Like this is a good opportunity to do it.
Yeah, because we were talking about last week too. It's just the right type of platform to say stuff like that, you know, because Marvel's a huge franchise. So you guys show the realistic proportion of what goes on in our reality. So
and I think it's time to address, you know, these kind of issues with Marvel. Not that Marvel is all fluff, but I feel like at some point we have to recognize that, you know, these characters are based off, you know, real world issues. And even though there's sorcerers, wizards, you know, mutants, things like that, you know, there's a human aspect that they have to deal with, you know, when this is all over. As we saw in episode 1, you know, Sam can't even get a damn loan, you know. So I'm glad Marvel is finally kind of adding a layer of realism to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And also I wanted to say, this is why, you know, storytelling is so important, because without these shows, we really wouldn't get these gaps filled in. You know, who knows what happens in between most superhero movies, you know, to get from one point A to point B. So I'm kind of glad we're getting, you know, these, you know, miniseries in a sense to kind of fill in those gaps, because had they just went, you know, directly from one movie to another, we wouldn't understand all that Wanda went through. We wouldn't understand all that Sam and Bucky are going through. There's a lot of emotions and a lot of, you know, things that are filled in with these television shows that really, you know, help, flesh out these characters in this world. And so I just got to say, I'm truly enjoying, these weekly releases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe miniseries. It's really been a pleasure to watch these. But yeah, so getting back to the storyline. So they're, I guess, trying to get information out of Dr. Nagel. Nagel? Yeah, Nagel. Yeah. So they're trying to get information out of him. And they get, I guess, the word of, they pull out that, Carl, they made 20 vials, and then Carly stole those vials. And she called him, I guess, to help out somebody who had tuberculosis named Danya Modani. And, they asked him if there's any serum in the lab. He says no. And then Sharon runs in and says, because she's been kicking ass outside the trailer the whole time, which I have to say, the fight choreography on this show is amazing. I love the fight on this show. It's definitely cinematic level fight choreography, guns. And I love the way they pull this off. But yeah, so then, Zemo just, heel turn and just, shoots old boy in the chest. And I think this is kind of where we're like, well, damn, is he, with them or against them? So somebody shoots a rocket launcher into the containers that they're in, and everything blows up, which I don't for life of me understand how everybody survived that. But okay, for the sake of television.
I don't really understand that either.
I didn't get it. I thought they were
just there.
like inside the container, and the inside blew up. But I guess, television magic, everybody has to live.
It was like Bucky covered everybody with his arm. It was enough. It was enough.
Everybody hit behind the one arm. So they make it out, and they have this, crazy shootout. And of course, there's some Marvel jokes later in there. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, where I don't like the misplaced jokes. The whole, you were supposed to go left, blah, blah, blah. As in every action movie. It was weird to me. But what did you guys think about the shootout, Mike?
Honestly, I did laugh at that joke. I mean, that was just me. I thought it was decent. It wasn't like my favorite action-y part of the episode. I did like Zemo's entrance. I thought that was pretty cool because I didn't expect him to be like such a fighter. Like, I know he is in the comics, but I felt like they made him out to be not that in the movies. So to see him actually like being pretty badass was pretty cool. Aside from that, I mean, I agree. I still don't know how they were supposed to survive the container exploding. But again, that is one moment you're just like, all right, well, let's just move past that. Yeah. Honestly, I think the part that the humor I found that worked in that scene was when Sam is just like, you like living here? And she's like, oh, it's okay. Like, that made me laugh. But I do feel like the other jokes were, like, I don't know, maybe chuckle worthy, but not quite necessary. So I do see what you're saying there.
Yeah. What you, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, I see what it doesn't bother me for the most part. I love Marvel everything. So, but no, I do see why people can be picky about certain things because stuff has got to make sense, and if stuff is misplaced, it's kind of like you do have to ask questions like, well, what happened? Because there's always continuity in scenes, and I think that with this scene, it's just I mean, I like the jokes, but was it necessary? No. Because am I gonna be saying, RJ, did you see that one movie? Like, no, like,
yeah. We're being shot at, Jay. We're being shot at.
Like, yeah. So I'm not gonna be talking to you about, hey, did you see that last Avatar Airbender movie and like getting shot at the same time? So I mean, it didn't bother me, but still, I'm like, yeah, you could just. It would have been more cool if we saw like Sam jump over something, and just like punch somebody in the face, like an action scene. They could place that with an action scene or something. Yeah. But I still thought it was a cool shootout. But the whole gas situation with stuff blowing up, I was like, oh, well, I guess they have a protected blanket around them.
Plot armor is in full effect.
You got the fire blanket over them.
Yeah, maybe it's Invisible Woman from the Fantastic Four making like an aura above them.
Sue Storm confirmed.
Yeah, right.
She was there.
Honestly, I'll be mad if like a couple episodes from now they were like, "That is how they survived." I'll be like, "What the what?"
Like, huh? But hey, fans and their crazy theories. I know we were all Mephisto.
Yeah, I definitely
WandaVision.
I was on the Mephisto train, and I
we
got.
I was on the Nightmare train more than the Mephisto train because it's something I feel like we're gonna see something different. I don't know.
That could be like Mephisto, all right. I wanted it to be Mephisto.
And then they revealed Agatha, and we were like, okay, well, we knew she wasn't who she said she was, but I guess we'll roll with it. But yeah, that whole, and the people in the comments are saying, things about the humor as well. Like, okay, when they were running from after they killed Selby, the whole like, I can't run in these hills. I could laugh at something like that, because you're literally running and you're mentioning you can't run in those smiling tiger hills. I get that. That was funny. It was really funny. That to me, that is a well-placed Marvel joke. But the whole being shot at, you're arguing about a movie. Yeah, like
I don't know. I'm pretty lenient when it comes to the humor. I'm like, if it makes me laugh, I don't really care where it happens, unless it's like someone's dying and they're just like, I don't know what kind of joke they could make in that situation. But in that case, I'd be like, all right, that was not the best. But I don't know. I'm usually okay with a joke in a fight or like a tense situation. As long as it's not too intense.
I'm not. I've always been like that. And y'all know I will bring this up every live if I have to. I will never forgive Guardians of the Galaxy for that damn scene with Groot when they were crashing and he was eating damn M&Ms.
You're never going to get over that.
I was like, I'm never going to get over it because it pissed me off.
For me, that just wasn't that funny to me. So I was like, okay.
And then he'd be in there.
I didn't laugh that hard. I was laughing at like people shaking in the plane or the shit.
Yeah, I was laughing at Drax just like getting smacked around in the trees. That was that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, I agree. The Groot thing that didn't land, but I mean, Marvel has had some issues with placing in a joke, hoping that it'll work, and then not always.
Yeah, and DC tried to do that with the first Justice League when they had like the weirdly placed jokes in there.
Those were just bad.
Yeah, it just was really bad. It was bad.
The Whedon version, the Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have the Snyder Cut now. We don't talk about the Justice League. That's no longer play.
It's not canon.
But it doesn't matter anyway because they're not continuing it. So that's that.
That's so stupid.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
They'll change their mind. They'll see.
Hopefully they do because I enjoyed the Snyder Cut for sure. It definitely was a lot better than the Josh Cut by miles. Yeah. So can anybody explain to me why I was supposed to say damn Mephisto, why Zemo turned on them and then like pulled up in the whip like get in.
Okay, that was the part I was talking about from earlier. That did not. I think that's kind of lazy writing. He just so happens to find like a really nice car in one of the containers. I was like, "Are you sure?" Like he either had that plan from the get go, and he's the power broker, or that was just kind of lazy. Like they were like, "Oh, another cool car." I'm like, "No." How?
Just say that he in the comics, y'all. He's plans ahead, so maybe I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, like I said, he might be the power broker. They might throw a curveball at us.
I think Mephisto's a power broker.
I do think that I agree with that because I think they are going to throw a curveball because sometimes we do feel like we're watching these movies and TV shows that one thing's going to be another, but it actually turns out to be the whole complete opposite or nothing at all. Or they don't even touch on it, but I don't know, man. I mean, like, even this whole scene, like we saw Sharon Carter come out, kick some butt. That was really cool. She got her redemption, so I was happy for that.
Yeah.
But one thing here's my thing, RJ. I did not like what Sharon Carter mentioned when she got in the car. She's like, "Okay, I'll see you guys later. This mission's pretty much over, right?" And she gets in the car and then talking to some girl, and she's like, "We have a problem."
I wonder.
She could be the power broker. She could be the power broker.
Justin says Zemo and Sharon are working together, which I could see.
I could see that too. That'd be a good twist, actually.
I don't doubt that because that's what I'm saying. He has connections outside, and on top of that, I do think RJ. I'm going to go back and agree with you that it was Sharon that shot
so
that lady through the window. Yeah, through the window.
Blurred Up has a theory. Okay, yeah, you got to come on the show, and yeah, we're gonna let you rant on that. I want to know what your theory is, man. But yeah, like when she said that, I kind of like, and I love Marvel, but I hate them because I'm like, damn, every time y'all give me answers and that y'all leave me with more questions, and they do it. They did it with WandaVision. Every single episode, they would answer something and leave me with 5 more questions. But this makes me think that she's not who she says she is, because I feel like she low-key didn't even really want the pardon, because when Sam offered it the first time, she was like, she kind of like turned it down or didn't really take it serious. So maybe she's happy where she's at now, being a hustler. Look at her life. She has bodyguards, she has a beautiful mansion, she's, living her life, fancy clothes and all of that. So who knows what she's getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I can't tell if she's just working for the power broker, if she is the power broker. Like, I don't know. It does seem like she's definitely got something else underneath the surface. And I'm sure we'll find out what it is. I don't think that'll be one of the like unanswered questions of the show. I'm sure within the next like 2 episodes, we'll get an answer to that.
Maybe she's Hydra now.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't think she'd ever go to full on Hydra, but I mean, who knows? You never know.
Who knows? Marvel's interesting like that.
I mean, she did kill Cap in the comics, so maybe
that's true. It's true. He did turn evil too. There's so many different like story arcs, but I mean the main one, you're right. So we're going to talk about the last 2 parts, but this one part we're going to talk about real quick, which is really interesting. So we go to the Flag Smashers, right? And this is the very I think this is the most interesting part about the episode, in my opinion. We'll talk a little about theories and stuff, but so we see Carly talking to one of the that's funny. So we see Carly talking to one of the members of the Smashers, and they're saying like, hey, I want to just live my life. You got to do this stuff and legally and behind closed doors, make sure we don't get caught. And after this is all done, I want to help kids and give them these serums. And I was like, because going along with that, we saw in the background, we saw this gate and we saw an X on it. And I'm like,
I didn't even notice that.
Yep, X-Men confirmed.
And I'm like,
I wonder what that is.
This has to be
a screen grab. I don't know if I believe you. Like, wait, what?
No, let me go ahead. I'm gonna try to find it on my phone. But it's definitely it was there when they were standing outside. I think this was before they blew up that damn building.
Mm-hmm.
They were standing outside talking, and then it was an X in front of the gate. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, it was a blue, just like a blue
like red,
blue and red, imprint on the gate. So it was an X, and to me that makes sense because hear me out real quick before I ask you the question. The X-Men have relocated many times in the comics because, as you know, Michael, the X-Mansion has got blown up before.
Yeah, many times.
Right? So, yeah, exactly. And in different countries, too. So, many times. So, I think what they're doing, and as how the team has also gotten bigger as well, forming internationally, right, in the comic. So, I know you may have not noticed it, but I'm going to throw this one at you, Michael. Do you think we're going to start seeing some X-Men? And if we do, who do you think we're going to see first?
Honestly, I'm super hopeful that we will. And I know there were some rumors before the show started coming out that there were going to be X-Men in this one. I don't know. I feel like they're not going to throw them in, or at least not into this show, but I would love if they did. And I feel like if they're going to hit us with a first X-Men, it's probably got to be either Professor X or Magneto, but I would personally like to see Iceman the most. Like, he's always been my favorite X-Men, so that would just be my personal preference, but I don't know. I mean, there's so many mutants. It's like they could go so many different ways. Like, there's a lot of rumors that Omega Red is supposed to be in this show.
Yeah,
and that would be pretty awesome, actually. But I don't know if they do. They might not even make him like a mutant. They might do what they did with Wanda and be like, oh, it's just powers of another sort. So I don't know. But I would love it. I didn't know they had the X there, though. That is kind of like a big hint right there. Yeah. And they also had Madripoor in the Princess Bar where Wolverine always goes. So I'm like, maybe they will actually. So yeah, I don't know.
That's the thing too, because Madripoor. I mean,
see if there's the X.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you see that?
Okay, yeah, they did. I did not notice that. I was too distracted by Carly's like super red hair. Like mesmerized.
No, I feel that, yeah. But RJ, what do you think? Do you think we're gonna start seeing some mutants? And if so, who do you think we're gonna see first?
As long as it's not Jubilee, I don't care.
Do you not like Jubilee?
I'm
like
not
Jubilee.
As long as it's not Jubilee.
Come on, Jubilee is cool.
No, I have a bone to pick with Jubilee because when I was playing X-Men Legends, I got stuck on the level because
Oh
everybody died.
Oh my
I
god!
was stuck with Jubilee, and I had her special up, and then I used her damn special. She threw a bunch of fireworks in the air, and I still died because the special did nothing. So I got beef with Jubilee. So as long as it's not Jubilee.
Well, that's your problem. You weren't playing a Cyclops. Like,
I played as everybody. I died. That's the problem. All I had left was Jubilee, and she let me down when it mattered most. So, but as long as it's not Jubilee, I'm fine. But I will say, I feel like maybe it could be Deadpool, because he's known for breaking the wall, and we do have the Multiverse of Madness coming up. So maybe far-fetched there. He kind of breaks the wall into another universe, and they pull in Deadpool, and they kind of finagle that or finesse that some kind of way. Blurred Up did have a good kind of way. They could, he do good at Madripoor Gambit. I actually like that. I like that. They could revisit it and just show him off to the side, being Gambit. I like that.
Gambit's so cool too. That would be pretty sick.
Yeah. We never got a good Gambit. No.
No,
we never did.
I don't think we ever got a Gambit. Well, let's just pretend like.
Yeah, I mean, we got in that one movie, but we got in X-Men Origins, but we're not going to talk about it.
It's like that didn't happen. Last Airbender didn't happen.
Yeah. It's like the Deadpool we got that time. Was it Wolverine X2? No, Wolverine was that where Deadpool was in there, or was it
that was Origins too?
Yeah, that was Origins.
Yeah, Origins too.
Like that whole movie was just like poor choice after poor choice.
Yeah. Unfortunate. That whole movie was just buns. But I don't know who do you want to see with X-Men, or how would you bring them in, Jay?
Oh, you gonna throw a question at me? Okay.
Yeah, I want to know what you, Mr.
Answer your own question.
Yeah, come on, call me.
I like that.
Let us know.
So I think we are gonna start seeing a few X-Men. I feel like I'm gonna agree with the both of you. I think it's not gonna be the heroes. I think it's gonna be the villains first. Because it makes sense just with this the Flag Smashers and all these connections, world peace, as they say, and having all these connections is dangerous with who has what, who has different types of the serum. So I think that people are trying to get their hands on the serum and make their own like creation into whatever it is. Because Omega Red is the Super Soldier Serum is like an off-brand of what he has in his system called carbonadium and stuff and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But as far as X-Men that we might see, besides Omega Red, I would like to see, I know I'm not really worried about Wolverine. I don't really care about that right now.
Me either.
Yeah, I just want that to wait.
We've had enough of that. Something new.
Exactly. So I think that I would like to honestly see like someone like Colossus be redone.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And like him fight Omega Red or something in Russia, something like that.
That'd be pretty sick, actually.
Yeah. I have a question. Who would you guys be disappointed if it was like the first mutant? Like, who would what mutant reveal would be like a complete letdown for y'all?
Nightcrawler.
You don't want to see Nightcrawler?
It'd be too early.
Okay.
Yeah. We already said it, but for me, it'd be Wolverine. I'd be like, please just give it a rest for like 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. Who said it? Was it Shayna or Too Cool Dancing who said they wanted to see Storm? Because I was like, hell yes, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Like maybe not one of the more lesser known X-Men, but I mean, they've still never really done her correctly in the movies. So I really want to see them do a good job with Storm.
Yeah, for real, because each Storm, and I love Halle Berry, but it was literally Halle Berry in the wig.
Exactly.
Her in the wig. It just wasn't Storm.
It just didn't feel right.
Don't even start on Alexandra Shipp. I love her. No, I don't want to say I love her acting. She was good in Love, Simon. But other than that, I'm not really the biggest fan of Alexandra Shipp. As far as her X-Men portrayal Storm goes. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
We don't know if Alexandra Shipp is watching this live with 11 people on it right now. So we won't say anything mean. I'll say I did enjoy her portrayal of Storm. I don't know if it was in the writing or the performance, but I just did not feel it. But whoa, blurred up. Yes, Olivia Munn as Psylocke. She had that down.
She did.
That was the only thing that's really comic accurate.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to bring back those actors again, though. I think they're determined to like redo the whole thing, with the exception of like Deadpool. So I think unfortunately we're not going to see that, but that would be good.
Alexandra Shipp laughed at people when they told her that they were recasting. She was like, "Hi, you really think they're going to recast?" And then an article came out that they were recasting like 10. And everybody was all like, "Is you?"
They just said, "Sit the fuck
down." It was embarrassing.
Really embarrassing.
But that's unfortunate though, like, because I really like brought up Olivia Munn, and I really enjoyed her as Psylocke. I don't know if this is correct, and correct me if I'm wrong, but somebody said that Wanda, I guess, expanded her powers or opened up her powers. She was an Omega level mutant. I didn't think she was Omega level, but she is
Omega level.
She is, yeah.
She is? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I still don't know if they 100% said she's a mutant in the show or not. They were like, she's a witch. I'm like, well, does that mean you're a mutant? Because you're born with your powers.
Yeah.
It's magic, so... Like, what are you trying to say here?
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it is she's a mutant, but maybe they're waiting for that.
Yeah, I think they are waiting. I mean, I agree. I think that they're going to build up to that, especially Magneto, because he's Omega level too. But you know, we won't get into that. Turner Smith is the first Storm. Oh, okay, yeah, we gonna get. There's so many people I want to see a Storm, but yeah. So let's talk about this last part real quick before we end the show. So. They end up going to another part in Germany, I think, towards the end. Am I right?
Oh, is it Germany?
I think they might have. What was it, like Latvia or something? I think they went to a different country.
Right? They were in Lithuania, the Flag Smashers, and then they went back to. They were in Germany twice because they went to Munich once, and then they went to Germany another part.
Yeah, they went to Berlin. I think was the other one.
Okay.
Who knows when you have money like Baron Zemo, you just hop in the jet or wherever you want to go.
Doesn't matter where you are in this world, just somewhere.
Yeah, just somewhere. So they were, I think it was Germany, but wherever they were internationally, they were somewhere, and they're gonna go just like hang out for a bit, and then Zemo, Sam, and Bucky are walking, and Bucky all of a sudden is like, "I'll catch up with you guys," and there's like, "All right."
I like how easily they said that too. They're just like, "Sure, whatever." I'm like, "You're not gonna ask him why?"
No, I'd be like, "Where you going, bro? Where you going?"
Yeah. So this is kind of weird, but Bucky senses something. So he walks away, and we see him picking off these like small tech devices, small like circular tech devices, which nobody I personally didn't know when I first saw it, but we'll talk about in a second. And he picks up the first one, and like there's a trail to another one. He picks it up, and then like he kind of looks around, and nothing's there. And walking to a bar, and he looks both ways, and he says, "I know you're here. Like what's going on?" Like, and then he turns, and there's nothing there. But then he turns again, and then one of the Dora Milaje members is right there, and he's just like, "Oh, well, I probably knew you come. So what's going on?" And she says, "I need to talk to Zemo. Or I need to see Zemo. I've come for him."
She says she's here for Zemo. Yo, and that Marvel's good at them callbacks because Sam said, "Do you think Wakanda forgot?"
Yeah, that was a good foreshadowing right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly, and that's the thing too, because Wakanda is ruthless. You know, when Wakanda arrests somebody, you know, wherever it is, they don't say, "Oh yeah," like the government's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna take him back with us. Good job today." Wakanda's like, we are gonna take him back to our kingdom, and we are going to place him in our jail."
Like you had your chance. It's our turn now.
Yeah.
Exactly. So bye. So basically, I want to just ask you, like, what your opinions and theories on this? Just thoughts, theories. RJ, what you think about this scene?
Well, I like going back to what you said. I thought it was really strange that they just let Bucky walk off like that because I feel like we're dealing with something pretty serious. And you said you want to go for a walk. Nah, bro. It's the buddy system. Where you go, I go. So where are we going? Where are we going? But what I noticed, what I love about Marvel is that they do things so subtly. I watched it a couple times this episode, and as he's walking with them and behind him, his eyes shifted down. So he saw that beat on the ground, and that's why he said, "Hey, let me hang back," because he like he said, he knew she was coming. So he picks up the beat and he walks and he finds another one, and she turns around. And for me, I love it because I wasn't expecting Wakanda to jump in this. Yeah, it's so unexpected. And I love curveballs like that because it's unexpected and it makes you kind of look forward to the next week's episode. And I said this before, but I feel like I'm digging the weekly releases on television shows now because I have time to process things. I have time to think about it.
Exactly.
I was excited when he turned around and she was there and she said, "I'm here for the Zemo." So I can't wait to see what happens next episode because Wakanda's not, when they show up, they're not showing up for negotiations.
They're not fucking around.
they're not fucking around. Like they're showing up to get what they came for. They may, work with you, to, path of least resistance. But overall, when the Dora Milaje show up, they're here to do what they do. Yep. So I cannot wait.
I can't wait to see what stake this is. I mean, I'll get into my theories in a second, but I'm going to ask you, Michael, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this whole last scene?
And that was my favorite cliffhanger that the show has given us so far. Because I was also the same when he picked up the first Kimoyo bead. I was like, "What is that? I'm not really sure what it is." And then on the second one, I think I remember even saying like, "It looks kind of like the beads from Wakanda," but then as soon as he walked into the alleyway and was just like, "I know you're here," I was like, "Holy shit! Is it really is it really one of them?" Yeah. And then seeing Io step out, I was like, "Oh, dude, this just got so much better." Yeah, I love how she even said too. She's like, "I'm here for Zemo." Kind of, I don't want to say like gave me chills because it didn't, but it was like, oh yeah, she's here to kill him. Either kill him or take him prisoner. Like she's gonna get what she wants though. And I wonder how many of the Dora Milaje they're gonna show. Like it might just be her. I could see them doing that. But if they pop in like Denai Gurira for a minute, like dude, this show will officially be my favorite like Marvel entertainment they've ever done. So yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, man. This Marvel does a great job. We always say this, RJ, just with, like you said too, with callbacks and with continuity too, just like moving and going back at the same time. It's like we're learning and we're going back and they're reminding us and it'd be like, "Oh, that happened." It's like, "Oh, that's why this happened." So, but my thoughts just real quick on this last part is just I really liked how this is so unexpected because at first I didn't know what those were because we haven't seen those since the first Black Panther movie. The little the technology beats. So I was just like, whoa. But so that threw me off. But one thing I want to say is that also I think we're gonna start seeing is some kind of connections. I know I keep mentioning that, but it's just you've mentioned they mentioned in Black Panther that Ulysses Claw they've been tracking him for 50 years, right?
Yeah.
For 50 long years. So this man went on a quest to steal vibranium, which he succeeded, and he stole it and he sold it to many different people. So I think that at a point in time, Baron Zemo's father, Heinrich Zemo, maybe or Baron, got their hands in on some like vibranium or that kind of technology, and are trying to do something with it and carry on to their generation. If that makes sense.
I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Jay. All right. Okay.
I'm just saying, just because like I think that with Zemo, he's so like he told you in the show, RJ, like you said, I'm a baron. Like I have money, like I have connections,
Yeah,
you know.
sure.
So I think that I think Baron already, like I said, it has a plan put together. I think Ulysses Claw has played a big. I mean, I know he's dead right now, but I think that history in the past from Wakanda stealing that vibranium has added up to what's going on right now with Wakanda.
I can see that.
Yeah.
You know how Marvel is good with callbacks and connecting the smallest minute details together in order to create a grander story. So I could definitely see that happening for sure.
Like even if they don't plan it from the start, they usually do a pretty good job working it in so it doesn't feel out of place. I could see them doing something like that. That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool, but who knows?
But I knew what those beads were as soon as they showed up because they're in my Amazon cart. So I knew what they were as soon as they showed up.
I just got mine.
I was like, oh shoot, okay, I know what that is. Yeah, I was hyped when I saw that. But yeah, I definitely, I know Blurb said they saw it coming, but I didn't see Wakanda coming at all.
Me either. I wasn't ready for that.
And I try to stay away from rumors and like casting sheets because I don't want to know.
Same here. Yeah, because I heard stuff that they were kind of leaning into that, the whole White Wolf aspect. How they talked about that in Civil War, because in the comic book, T'Challa had a half brother that was called the White Wolf.
Right.
And Bucky in the movies has already been into Wakanda. They repaired his arm, and he already knows like the ways of Wakanda. So I think that they're kind of going to tag at that too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I feel you, RJ. I try to stay off of that as much as I can because I just want to enjoy it.
I feel like I would have liked WandaVision more if I hadn't heard a bunch of the rumors already. So I feel like that kind of made the experience a little less exciting just towards the end of it, where I was like, I was expecting like a lot more than that, but I still thought it was really good. Yeah, for this one, I'm pretty blind into it. The only rumor I've heard is the Omega Red thing, so we'll see if that happens or not.
I'm making a point to try to stay with stuff like this. It's sort of, you have to, and I think us as television, critics and watchers and viewers and content creators, I feel like we kind of have to protect our viewing experience. So we may have to pull back on looking at rumors and spoilers, because what it does is it sets your expectations, it kind of alters your expectations of what you're going to watch before you watch it. And so what I've learned is to protect my viewing experience. And this is kind of why, the problem with, professional wrestling, I know I don't watch, but that's the problem with professional wrestling, is that all of this shit is online. When someone's returning, when, a storyline's going to happen, it's already online. So what's the point of watching something that you already know is going to happen? It's like sitting in the movie theater and reading the Wikipedia while you're in the movie theater.
Which I have friends that do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If Cody's watching, I've done that before. My best friend, like, I'll be in it because I like horror movies, but I don't like to be scared. So I like to know when it's coming. So I'll pull up the wiki in the theater, and I didn't know if this person's gonna die or not. So I've done it before, but I protect my viewing experience with other things.
I'd rather just shit myself during the horror movie. I'm like, it's fine. Just get me as good as you can. But yeah, like for TV shows in particular, like movies, I'll watch trailers for, mostly because I don't like review or react to those. But for TV shows, I try really hard to avoid trailers and everything, because I'm like, I just want to go into it as fresh as possible.
Yeah.
Same.
For this, I did cave and I watched the trailer for it, but I haven't seen like the 20 trailers that came out for it.
Yeah.
Right. You just watched the one and that's it.
One.
Right. I was like, all right, that was pretty cool. I'm excited.
Look, I'm not watching any other Mortal Kombat stuff until like it actually drops. Like, I'm done. I don't want news.
They just dropped another Black Widow trailer. We have 4 Black Widow trailers out now. Why do we need that many?
I did just watch that trailer.
You watched it while we were backstage.
I've waited for 2 years now. I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna watch this, and it was pretty. It was a good trailer. I gotta admit.
I believe it, man.
I'll probably watch one, but I'm not gonna dive deep into those trailers at all.
It's definitely smarter to do it like that. By the way, when is Mortal Kombat coming out? It's this month, right?
Yeah, April 23rd.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm getting my
We push it
vaccine
back.
on the 7th, so I'm going.
You
I'm
want
going
to
in
theater,
theater.
yeah.
I'm making it
Oh,
happen.
Yeah, I want to
Definitely.
see that, definitely. I got my
Absolutely.
vaccination Friday, so I'm my second shot, so I'm going.
Nice.
So yeah. But let's talk about, so what do you guys think about Carly overall before we get out of here, and her, I guess her overall arc as a villain? We kind of see, she's trying to help, do good, but I feel like her villain arc, next episode needs to be a Carly episode, because I'm not invested as her as much as a villain.
How are you gonna blow up some people without any emotion?
She really didn't give a fuck. Like, she's just like, that's the
I don't
language
like her.
that people understand, and just like, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't like her. That's my answer.
Carly chose violence. Like,
It's
that's
like,
it.
maybe I'm like too sympathetic, because I kind of do like her. Like I was with her like this whole episode. I'm like, oh, I see where she's coming from. Like, she's pretty cool. And then she blew them up, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was with you. Like, what the hell happened? I feel like they're trying to do kind of a Killmonger situation where they're like, they have the right idea, they're just doing it the wrong way. But so far, I do have to agree. I'm like, she's no Killmonger. Like, she's nowhere near as sympathetic, or as in, I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. Like, it's not as easy to invest in her as it was with him, or at least thus far. I would be okay if they did, well, probably not a whole episode on Carly, but an episode that focused on her a lot, because I think they do kind of need to get people to really get drawn in. But I have a feeling they will. I don't know why. I have a feeling we're all going to feel really bad for her by the end of this. It's my theory.
A villain, to me, makes or breaks, a show. A good villain can really get you invested. A good villain will kind of get you rooting for the villain. It just depends. But I feel like we kind of need a solid adversary, for Bucky, Sam, and all, and I guess Zemo is on their team now. I don't know, but I feel like we don't really have any kind of, I guess, connection or we have no tether to her motivation. And I think that's my problem. It's like, we get it, but it's like you're still doing everything wrong.
I mean, maybe they're going to go for like a Civil War thing where it's like none of them are really the villain of the show. They all are just kind of on one side or the other, but they all
correction. Iron Man was the villain in Civil War.
Oh, okay. So you're Team Cap.
Let's be clear on that.
Okay, well, I am actually in full agreement there, but most people I know don't seem to agree with me on that. I was totally Team Cap on that one.
Yeah, all the way, Team Cap.
Team Cap.
Yeah, all the way. Signing no damn paper.
Well, for real.
So, but yeah, so overall opinions on the show before we get out of here. What did you guys think of the episode on a scale of 1 to 5? And what did you like about the episode? I'll start with Jay, and then we'll close it out with Mike.
Yeah, good episode. Still like the last one. The last one episode is still my favorite. But I still think it moved forward and introduced some new things that we might see in the next episode or in the future Marvel films. So can't wait for the next episode. I probably rated this episode 8 out of 10.
Okay.
8 out of 10. Last episode, 9 out of 10.
Okay. What about you, Mike?
For me, this is my favorite one so far. I think mostly just because there were so many comic book references, and I was like, I'm living for this shit right now. It's so good. So I gave it like a 4 out of 5, or I think I actually rated it like a 9.7 or something on my reaction for it, because I was so hyped on it. But I feel like it's kind of just stirring the pot. Like, this is the episode that really got a bunch of different storylines going in different directions. And I feel like in the next couple ones, we're going to start seeing the bigger picture, like what the deal with the power broker is, or Sharon, or if it's the same person, what Zemo's whole plan is. I have a feeling they're going to really try and get you to feel bad for Carly, but maybe I'm wrong. And then, of course, we have Wonder Bread, who I'm like, who knows? Who knows where they're going to go with him? If they're going the comic book route, then he'll try to be a good guy, but he'll end up just being a really bad dude.
I feel that way, though, that he's not gonna be the best guy.
Nah, probably not.
Nah, this dude is insane in the comic books, man. I'm telling you, this dude is crazy.
Can't wait to see that unfold, because he's already giving me like bad vibes now. Like his energy is just, it ain't there.
I'm like, he's gonna get juiced up, and when he does, like, That's gonna be pretty bad.
He's because he in the comic books, he's just as strong, if not stronger than Cap. So
Yeah,
that's a problem.
No, he gets jumped. That's
it's
what I
gonna
hope.
it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, it's gonna be
bad.
it's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a bomb ass fight though.
No, yeah, it's gonna be great.
They all got their ass beat. You know, the first time they tried to all fight together, they got their ass beat. So hopefully this next one will be good.
Probably.
Yeah, but overall, I like this episode. I definitely would consider this my favorite of the three that we've seen. I like the fact that we kind of got more. I guess for me, my favorite part of the show was the callbacks and the foreshadowing that they kind of layered out throughout. The episode. I love the ending with Wakanda coming into play. Just the espionage, Sharon making her comeback, and just the layer of realism that they added to it as far as the reparations. I love things like that. I love the realism that they're layering into the Marvel Cinematic Universe television show. So overall, that definitely I'll probably say I give this episode like a 4 out of 5 for sure. So I agree with y'all wholeheartedly on that. So before we get out of here, Jay, where can we find you at?
You can find me on all social media platforms across the board. My Snapchat is hero.harrison, but my other links, TikTok, Instagram, all that, Facebook, is just Hero Harrison Talk. I got Twitch as well, so got a bunch of podcasts coming soon and a bunch of Marvel and DC stuff coming too. So
very nice.
And where can we find you at, Mike?
I'm boring, and I only have my YouTube, Nerd Guy Productions, and my Instagram, Chronic Gamer. So those are the 2 places you can find me at.
Cool. And you can follow me across all social media platforms at Avatar RAJ. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow the Silver Site, of course, across all social media platforms at the Silver Site, as well as For the Blurcher at For the Blurcher across all social media platforms. Also, before we get out of here, we are starting a new podcast here at the Silver Site Network that focuses on women's wrestling. It's called Women Can Wrestle. Make sure you check us out. Follow us on Instagram at WCW The Podcast. We're going to be launching our first episode of our podcast, WrestleMania Weekend, as we talk about Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. First time in wrestling history where 2 black women are main events of WrestleMania, and we can't wait to break it down and talk to you about it. So it's going to be lit. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time talking about, women's wrestling and, women's wrestling history. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Next week, be sure to tune in. We are not going to be broadcasting Saturday. Instead, we will be broadcasting on a Friday because we have to cover WrestleMania that weekend. So be here next Friday at 9 p.m. and we will talk about the episode. So with that being said, I want to reiterate, Friday at 9 p.m. we'll be having our weekly live. This is the only time we will ever move it. So once again, Friday
at 9.
All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I enjoyed the conversation. With that being said, everybody have a great night, later days, and remember, blur is bond.
Blur is bond.
Let's go.
I don't know if I should say it too, but
Blur is bond. We out.